What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Today we're going to be hitting the streets of New York City with my Ricoh GR4 monochrome here, shooting with small JPEG files and high contrast black and white. So essentially the goal of this day is to see if I can produce a full book in just 12 hours of shooting. I'll be going to New York City in just any moment now. I gotta catch the train. I have all of these photographs that I've made over the past 3.5 years using this practice. This is around 13,000 prints. I've got volumes and volumes of books that I'm producing using this exact system, and I'm really eager to see if I can actually make this happen in just a single day of shooting. It'll be exciting to give it a try. I just want to share with you the journey of how I do this thing. I'm just gonna arrive, no preconceived notions of what I will find, and snapshot my way through the day. And then when I come home and take the train, what I'm gonna do is import the photographs directly to my iPhone. So we're gonna be doing an iPhone native workflow today with the Lightning to SD card reader, so I can import the photographs on the train, already make my selections, already sequence the photographs and have them laid out so that the next day when I wake up in the morning, all that's left for me to do is drop my photographs in InDesign and then order the book. So yeah, I'm gonna showcase this full workflow from zero to fully published trade book. So I gotta get out of here. Let's go. Red filter, activate. What's poppin', people? Arrived here in New York City. Check it out. Starting the day. I usually like to walk immediately to Central Park, so that's what I'm gonna do. I really can't just get myself to start shooting street just like right off the bat in the beginning of the day, and so yeah, I like to start my day in nature, so that's where we're going. Honestly, I feel like when I come to New York City, my body just naturally gravitates towards Central Park. I think it's such an incredible place. It's so beautiful, it's so big. Like, you can pretty much just spend the entire day there. But yeah, just catching the beautiful sunrise. Was making a photo of this guy on the train while the light was peering in through the train windows. And yeah, it was kind of special. Just watching the light glimmer into the train and touch his face. And then, you know, honestly, I just like to start my day with gratitude, some prayer in the park, and just thank God for another day. So that's where I'm going to basically just orient my day towards this beautiful park, Central Park. It's quite beautiful. Look at the way the light is casting on these hands here. It's nice. I have no idea why, but I really want to photograph that image on this truck. I think it looks really beautiful. And the way it's kind of got the texture on it as well is kind of interesting. Check it out, I'm a landscape photographer. Look, I'm doing landscape photography. I'm the next Ansel Adams, baby. This is real landscape shooting. Check it out. We arrived in Central Park, where I like to start my day in New York City. I think it just sets the day up in the right direction, where I'm just so grateful for another day under the sun. Catch the sounds of the birds, the beautiful sights of the trees and green things. Enjoy the smell of the horse manure over there in the distance. And just go for a nice morning walk. You know, it's a cold day, but alas, I found the sun. And so I like to orient my day this way in nature, so that I can set my body in motion, set my mind in order, so that when I go out there into the chaos of the street, I can approach everything with ease. You know, I don't want everything to feel chaotic right away, just like immediately stepping into New York City. And so yeah, just coming for a nature walk in the morning is the perfect way to just start the day and get myself moving and photographing and observing. And I have a theory about photography where it essentially has nothing to do with photography, but it has everything to do with the way that you feel about life and the way that you orient your day. So if you wake up in an enthusiastic state, kind of just like eager to catch the sunrise, well, it's inevitable that you're going to cultivate curiosity and this sort of joyful approach to the day. And then from there you start to play and photograph. And so, yeah, essentially the photographs you make are a direct reflection of your internal state and the way in which you engage with humanity and feel about life. And so I like to start my day up in a way that makes me grateful, and just from there everything is an upside. Currently photographing in Central Park, looking at beautiful silhouettes, using the light that's glimmering off of the rocks. Waiting for this group to stop taking a photo and move so I can get a beautiful moment of somebody in front of the sun. There they go. Maybe go for a horizontal frame. Wow. Pretty beautiful moment to start the day, just watching the sunrise and the people here from Italy. You could tell they were tourists, kind of just taking photos, and people were walking around, and I'm hiking around this mountain, and it's like you get your legs pumping. It's a cold day, so you get to warm up by walking around. And yeah, this is a really cool spot here in Central Park on top of this little cliff. Check it out. It's so beautiful. There's my shadow. Hello. Check it out. I like making photos of the beautiful tunnels and things that I go through with overexposing maybe point plus 3 or whatever on the EV, and I just let the light peer into this beautiful tunnel and make a weird photo of the light itself. So my interest lies in light itself. You know, that's what draws me out into the world to photograph these days, is just following the light and wielding light not only as the medium derives from light. When you look at the word photography, phos meaning light, graphe meaning drawing, we're drawing with light, but it's also simply my subject these days, and I'm simply curious about how light will render upon my monochrome sensor. And so I'm curious about how life and light looks like photographed, and by following the light I always find a surprise in the frame that I make, and that surprise may be a mistake. Those little nuances that light provides me in my photography is what increases my curiosity and has me coming out here each and every day in the spirit of play, just following the light and photographing. And so, yeah, light is what I'm interested in. Light is in flux. Light is always changing, and the way that it's always in motion and casting upon surfaces reminds me of the infinite possibilities of photography. Just think about how much novelty there is to be found in the mundane nature of life and light. So the thing that I find so liberating about using a Ricoh GR is the way in which it prompts you to get close to the thing that you're photographing. There's something about putting the camera to the eye. Imagine I put the camera to my eye and then I went really close to this detail to make a photograph of it. It almost just doesn't make sense. And like, I don't know, in the past I would never make photographs of details and different things because of the way the camera kind of orients you to that eye level. But being able to just kind of like hold the camera out and like get close to things is a really big game changer for me in my photography. And because of that, I just find infinite curiosity around me. Like, I don't think about, you know, the thing that I am photographing as like a fact or like just looking at this object, but I'm interested in like the textural experience of life, you know, just like looking at the way the light casts upon things, the way that textures render, the way that shadows cast. You know, there's so many ways to photograph that are nuanced and different when approaching a camera system like the Ricoh where I can get close to macro details and photograph botanicals and all of these different things in a very liberating way that is extremely easy and intuitive to achieve. And so I'm just getting really close to things using macro, and throwing the camera around using the LCD screen is just such a breeze. Grand Central Terminal. Beautiful light shooting towards the sun, reflected light. Plus 0.7 on the EV, snap focus 1 meter, f/16. Just getting extremely close to people and trying to play with the way that light is casting upon the surface right now. Just looking at the way that light is reflecting and just causing this like beautiful effect on the subjects that are walking towards me. Yeah, I find it to be really exciting to be around like big crowds like this, where you can just kind of throw your camera around really close to people and just kind of like play and tinker more than being in a more low-key city like Philly where there's not as much population density. So just being in a crowd is really exciting for me. So one of my favorite things about shooting high contrast black and white is the simple fact that all I need is a patch of light and a nice background where there's nice shadow area, and then from there all I need is just, you know, a few people walking towards me. For instance, here we have this train station, there's lots of traffic, and then I just position my back to the sun, and then as people walk into the light, I can just make a snapshot of their face and create these very dramatic, sort of candid portraits of people in the light. And it's a technique I picked up when I was in Tokyo, and I just keep using it to this day because I think it's so extremely beautiful to just isolate the faces of the people from the crushed shadow area. It's just such a nice kind of chiaroscuro effect to use with this workflow. I really appreciate it because I'm not really dependent on like anything interesting happening, but the light itself is what makes life interesting for me. And so yeah, that's what I look for. Maybe a nice face, gesture, but really it's just the light. Importing my photos before I even get on the train. Lightning speed with the lightning cable to SD reader. Small JPEGs are the best. Complete iPhone workflow. I'll cull through the photos on the train, make my final selections, and then tomorrow when I wake up in the morning after I eat dinner, I'll put everything into InDesign and make a full book. So hey, look, I didn't get to share too much behind the scenes on the street, but the whole point is to share the process. So just importing the photos now. iPhone Pro, pretty simple shit. Photos app, point and click. All right, so I just got home. I'm already printing out the photos. It's currently 6:50 p.m., so we're still on the clock. The day hasn't ended yet. I've got around 87 pictures being printed out right now on these 4x6 sheets. There's 11 sheets, 8 pictures per sheet. Canon Selfie CP1500. I've got 3 pounds of ground beef. Lots of photographs. Raw milk. I did 18 and a half miles of walking. Pretty good. Gotta hit that marathon though. So yeah, shout out to Wilt Chamberlain, local Philadelphia legend from the 76ers. He scored over 100 points in one basketball game and chugged a gallon of milk after. So this one's for you, Wilt. And so I'm going to get these small thumbnails printed out. I'm gonna throw them on the ground and I'm gonna make the fastest sequence possible. And the goal is, before I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to have the book already ready to publish. I'm going to lay everything out in my personal template that I have with InDesign and the Blurb Book Creator plugin. Everything's gonna be uploaded and shipped, and yeah, I'll pay for the expedited shipping and get this book in just 1 week from now, so we can really complete the cycle and just showcase that you don't have to make something so serious and precious, but you can treat your photography as a personal visual diary of your day and find joy in the act of producing and creating and yeah, basically making your own little personal diary. And check this out. That's my grandpa on the cover of this little diary I made from my trip in Rome. And yeah, they're just such a joy to look through and enjoy the photos this way in small format. And yeah, you can pretty much knock out a whole book in a day if you really wanted to. It's pretty easy. You just gotta go out there and actually do the thing. I just finished eating dinner and did a very quick random shuffle of photographs. This is not meant to be some serious editorial project like a complete story arc or anything, but just briefly, quickly flipping photos onto the table and putting them together. Now I'm going to move on to the iMac and share with you the behind the scenes as I drop my photos into InDesign and make the actual book from today's photo walk. So before I make the book, here we have the photos from the day. This is the first photo that I made on the train. And so what I'm going to do right now is make the cover for the book. So I have Procreate here on my iPad. I have a canvas that I don't even size it to anything particular. It's literally just like the size of the iPad. Like I don't even like format it for the book. I literally just make the collage and then just throw it on as like the front and back cover randomly and just like crop it in. This is literally how I make my covers for my actual books, because I find that what it is such a liberating way to approach creation, just not taking it seriously, where you kind of just throw things onto a canvas and just see what sticks. I really appreciate this kind of way of working with the spontaneous nature of it all. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to me. I mean, I just let the chips fall as they may at this point. Like, I don't want to have to like slave away and come up with some convoluted meaning behind like the thing that I'm making, or just like come up with some like idea for some like story or some bullshit. Like, I'm literally just playing on my iPad and like playing on the streets with my camera and not taking this shit seriously. So it's kind of just my whole philosophy. And I mean, honestly, I do photography for myself and it's a personal diary of my day. So that's essentially how I like to treat this thing from the ground up and make my cover there in just 2 seconds. So yeah, Cover's complete. Looks pretty good to me. Maybe I'll move this one thing just slightly. I think that may be cool in front of the eye like that. Yeah, just let it fall like that. I'll go ahead and export this, and then I'll go to my computer. All right, what's poppin', people? I'm back at the computer now. It's 8:13 p.m. It's past my bedtime. I'm in bed by 8:30 p.m. every day. I'm doing this video challenge for you as an example to showcase that this is possible. You can go out and photograph for a couple of hours, come home and make a visual diary that is physical and tangible that you can hold in your hands, which I don't know. I just think it's such an exciting idea to utilize compact digital technology and the streamlined approach of shooting with JPEGs using mobile phones, iPads, and simple print-on-demand services, and then being fueled by that late-night raw milk. Don't do drugs. Just sip that raw milk, baby. All right, let's get into InDesign. So I already have the cover dragged in. Basically, I took this, I made this on Procreate, as you saw on my iPad. I just drag it into the cover template. I'm using the Blurb plugin. If you go to File, Book, Blurb, Book Creator, I created a book, NYC Diary, gave my name, 5x8 trade book, soft cover, 100 pages, $8. So we're making an $8 100-page diary of my day. Put the title, NYC Diary, Dante Sisifo. Here we go. Starting to put the photos in. So I got the first shot here. I made that on the train. This is one of the first shots I made when I arrived at this clock. Then I started to go into Central Park. Got some full bleed vertical shots, a small thumbnail photo, a full bleed across the gutter. Got these nice shots with the white space around the border. And now we're moving down into the city. So I've got a few more shots to put in here. I mean, we're only on page 25 after all. So I think we're just getting started here. I'll just showcase a little bit of how I do this. It really doesn't take long. Take note of the clock. It's 8:15. Okay, so we're going to finish this before 9 p.m. I'm going to try to even shoot for the next 15 minutes. So when I drag something in my template, I double click, right click, fitting, and then I fill the frame proportionally. However, I think for this photograph particularly, it would look better as a full bleed. So I'm going to duplicate this spread here and drag it down to the next photo in the sequence so that I can utilize that full bleed effect for this photo of these little tabs that you can tear off of a pole. God knows why I photographed that. I just think sometimes, you know, you just go for it. Set up a little diptych spread here with this picture of Trump. Got this photograph of Trump here. This is actually Trump. There was a protest. Should I make this a diptych? Yeah, let's make this one a diptych. Fill frame proportionally. Yeah, I kind of like how those two go together. All right, so the book is complete. I have it here in InDesign. As you can see, the full book was made in just a single day before I go to bed. I upload it directly to Blurb using the built-in plugin in InDesign. This is probably my favorite spread. I love this spread of Donald Trump and this crazy face with the braces. As you can see, the cover, the back cover, $8, by the way. This is an extremely cheap 100-page photo book to make. It looks aesthetically beautiful on the pages with the black and white paper, with this simple small JPEG recipe. It really has, honestly, an aesthetic quality on this kind of paper and with this kind of imagery in this small format that's just beautiful aesthetically. There is something to be said about that, and the way that it like feels in your hands when you look through this kind of work. It's pretty special. And so I have the full sequence here, as you can see. And then from the ground up, this whole practice, it's all about cultivating instinct. As much as I'm talking about the book aesthetically and how it feels in my hands and how I can see the photographs and, you know, have that sort of visual impact, there is something to be said about stripping everything away from photography, from the technicality, from your ability to synthesize the content with the formalities of composition, all of the things you know about the history, what has been done before, you know, kind of just
photographing for the sake of photographing and almost just removing all thought where you don't think and you just respond to your instinct. And so that's what this practice is about. That's why I've developed this workflow where I can work with insane speed, where I come home on the train and cull through all of the photographs I made on my iPhone immediately because I'm using a small JPEG. And that small JPEG, it's a part of the practice. It's a part of the system that makes photography effortless, where there is no friction. And so I have this online workshop experience actually that will help you get to the point where photography becomes effortless and you can create your own visual diary. And so if you can see here on the screen on the left hand side, it's my website, dantesisifo.com. I've got the flip through of my first volume of Flux. I also have Flux volumes 2, 3, and 4 already produced using this exact system that's allowing me to photograph from instinct prolifically with speed. And I find that when I have no friction in my practice and I'm left with my pure instinct, I find so much more joy in the act of making pictures. And so you might be wondering, why did I even make this book today? Like, what was the point? And what if there was no point? The point is found within itself. The act of making something can be for the act of making something. It doesn't have to be for an outcome, a goal, or seeking approval from others. But when you treat photography as a visual diary of your day, it's the purest way to experience this medium. And so I really would love to build a community of like-minded people around this sort of creative outlet of creating visual diaries. And so I developed the full system on my website here at the workshop tab. If you click on that link, it'll take you to Living with the Ricoh GR, where there is a payment portal here. As you can see, it's listed as $99. But if you're watching up to this point and you want to join me in this online experience and produce your own trade book and get my assistance and whole workflow, you can use the coupon code FOUNDING7 and you can get free access to the online workshop and the Discord server community where we can interact directly and walk you through the exact steps to create your own visual diary. And so check out the workshop tab if this intrigues you. There's around 3 hours of lecture material where I teach you how I set the camera up to the final product of giving you my template for InDesign and walking you through the steps to actually producing the full book like I did in this video. I have lots of other resources under the Learn tab on the website here with lots of different materials that I've put together around photography if you want to learn more about my practice. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. I mean, we got the final book here. It looks pretty good. Love to have you in the community and build visual diaries together. I'd love to see what others can do with this system, because what has happened since adopting this workflow is I've become so prolific with my photography where I'm just producing with rapid speed and just finding so much joy in life through photography. And that's why I developed this system and this approach to the medium, is to hopefully then share it with others and see what other people can do with it, because it's such a joy to practice photography this way, and I just love to share that with other people. So yeah, I figured I'd share that at the end of this little video. Challenged myself today to produce this book as quickly as possible. But hey, look, it worked out. I mean, just a quick stroll through New York City, nothing too deep, right? Only 18 miles later of walking and stomping around. There is no such thing as good or bad photos. You don't need a single strong image. What you need is more photos and to never stop photographing. So I encourage you to enter the stream of becoming, of producing more work, to pretty much just find yourself never not photographing. That double negative right there. The goal is to just not stop photographing, essentially. Like that's the goal. And so this practice has got me there, where photography is just effortless and just fuels me with so much joy. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty beat, pretty tired. It's 9 p.m. I got to get to bed. Peace.